I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Craig the Intern.
And we are the Pop Culturists. Dude.
Sup?
Dude.
It's been a while.
Good to see you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Now, is there only one reason we ever bring you back? Because no one else will turn up.
That's it.
That's the Pop C Intern. But the other thing that we have is you're always around when we come to talk Doctor Who.
That seems to be the case.
And today, as of time of recording, a big bit of Doctor Who news dropped.
Just a little smidgen of a
clean
sort
the
of fact.
spectacles.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and emphasis on the ladies, we got a lady doctor.
Yeah, Doctor 13 is a woman by the actress name of Jodie Whittaker.
And
Best known for her Broadchurch?
Broadchurch, which is a phenomenal, and of course already has a Doctor Who connection because of course David Tennant. David Tennant, as he's known to his lady friends. Yeah. Apparently not just an affectation.
Dong.
More on that later.
And in the new series, Doctor Who also brings over Chris Chibnall, one of the creators, I believe, maybe even the writer,
creative and or lead writer, I think he was.
Yeah,
on
for
there.
I'll
have to check that out. But
Broadchurch, mostly saying Broad Street.
Yes, but all I know is I've seen Broadchurch and it's phenomenally good. The writing was fantastic. So if that standard of writing continues on a Doctor Who, you could have a dog as the Doctor. It'd still be good.
Before we jump into the Doctor 13, let's chat about this Chris dude.
Yes.
See, this is one thing. So I've not seen the latest season of Doctor Who, not on purpose. Millie and I have just been incredibly slack.
He's accidentally not seen it. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah,
but anyway.
I remember you were like, "Oh man, have you watched the new season of Doctor Who?" I'm like, "No." When does it start? It's like 6 weeks ago. I'm like, all right, we'll come back. If it's not on Netflix, we don't know about it.
That's
we didn't watch free-to-air TV anymore. So I haven't watched any of this, but my understanding is, and from previous Moffat, he's pretty fucking weird with his writing.
He's, as in, like, you talk about Moffat or...
Moffat,
yeah. Moffat, he likes to get creative. He has a few things that you'll always see him work into his shows, but he's not afraid to try something new, and that's been a factor of Doctor Who since it started, back from the before Moffat and the I forgot
Russell T Davies.
Russell the T, who again Russell T Davies did Queer as Folk. That was one of his, and that was groundbreaking.
Oddly, a really good show,
a fantastic show, in fact. So they've always had someone very creative at the helm, and so I'm pleased. Although I was sad to see Moffat leave, because Moffat's written some of my favourite episodes, like of course Blink. Which was still in my top 3. Absolutely one of my favourite episodes. So this new head writer, or head of the showrunner, I think it's going to be good. So, I mean, that's all I've ever asked from Doctor Who. Regardless of who's the lead actor or the companions or whatever the scenario, the writing standard has to be good. And that's what keeps me coming back.
And I think you're spot on there. Especially with I liked Russell T Davies quite a lot. I liked Moffat quite a bit. One thing I liked about Moffat was his ability to create an over arc, which was something that was certainly lacking I'm gonna call him Russ in Russ's time. Nothing against Russ, he didn't quite have the same pull. See, like an example is probably
it's fair enough.
2 or 3 seasons ago, maybe. I think it was may have been the Matt Smith one with the tear in the wall.
Yeah, that was Matt Smith's first year.
No, it wasn't that one. Either way, there was something, and I know it was Capaldi's first year.
Yep.
And I'm like, none of these episodes make any coherent sense. What the fuck? And then at the end, it's like, you're like, and then everything connected in one moment.
Yeah, and I love the way he can do that. But and again, he did it in with Amy Pond and the
River Song,
the tear in time, and the River Song reveal. God, that's again one of my top 3. Oh, that gave me chills. I remember how excited I was the first moment. I sort of went, it's. And my sister told me to stop being a twit.
No, it's fantastic when they're like, a river. And
I know, and it never occurred to me. River Song, Amy Pond, I never made the connection, and I'm usually pretty good at that. I'm still kicking myself.
Damn a good reveal.
I believe I finished that episode with...
Gotta be careful. Spoilers, darling.
Spoilers. I did finish that episode by saying, Moffat, you magnificent bastard.
Look, as in terms of that, I'm really keen to see what someone new can bring to it. Granted, not seeing the last season kind of may change my thoughts on Moffat, I guess.
It's been a different feel, without any spoilers for those that haven't. The Capaldi era, very different to Smith and Tennant.
Can I do this and just swivel that a little bit?
There we go. It's better. But that's been the case. Every Doctor's era has been different, and again, it's been driven by the actor, not necessarily by the sex of the actor. To bring it back to what we were talking about, and each actor had their own strengths and weaknesses. If you look at Colin Davidson versus Patrick Troughton, or if you look at Tom Baker versus everybody, each one was very distinct and very unique and had their own voice and their own way of doing it, and we're going to get the same thing again. The only difference is the lack of external genitalia.
Yeah.
Really?
Which has seemed to have caused an insane level of controversy on the internet right now.
The fanboys and some girls, actually. There's plenty of girls who are also not as excited about it.
Yeah.
But, as I said, my favourite headline of the day was... I've just blanked on it. It was... That's right. Imaginary Time Lords cannot have penises, says idiot. Basically along those lines. This is a story. It's a made-up story. Yet apparently, although they're quite happy to accept dual-hearted Time Lords and time travel, the fact that one of them doesn't have a penis apparently is throwing them for a loop.
The correct answer is fictional time travelers don't have vaginas, insist morons.
That's the one. Thank you very much.
All right.
So,
see, this is the reason I brought you in.
Mm-hmm.
Being the mad Doctor Who fan that you are,
I am.
I'm curious on your stance on this. Now, you're also not an idiot, so I know where your stance lies. But I want you to talk about it and tell me.
Not as far as you know.
Give me some dates.
Well, they've been talking... The first time the idea of a female Doctor was broached was back when the Fourth Doctor was around, Peter Davison. And when they were getting towards the end of his run and they were speculating who the next Doctor would be, there was talk then that they might cast a woman. So this is in the mid-'80s, where you think it caused an uproar now. We didn't have the internet back there. We used to have to shout out our windows. Speaking of windows...
I think it's raining.
Okay, exciting stuff. God's crying, you see, because it's a woman. But anyway, it's as far back as the 80s, they've played with the idea, and in the 80s it wasn't going to happen. It was a misogynist era. There was always a man lead and a woman who gazed up at him adoringly. So, and that of course, the Doctor, that iteration of Doctor Who sort of phased out. It came back in, and then I think after...
It literally phased out. It went away.
Literally. And then after 2005 and the reboot, I think after Tenet, when Tenet was going, they were talking about bringing a woman at that stage. There was the rumours. There's always been rumours. But you've got, as I think you said earlier, there's a new writer, and a new writer wants to put his stamp on his run.
Exactly.
So Moffat hit the ground running with Tenet, and that sort of he's given it his spin. And now this guy says, "Right,
well, hang on. Did Moffat do Tenet, or was that
Moffat
Davies?
was still a writer then?
He was not showrunner. He was a writer.
Showrunner. He was a writer, and then he got the...
Was he showrunner when Matt Smith came in? Because that's the big thing, because they're talking about how the showrunners come in and change what they're thinking. Like, one of the key things that I love about Matt Smith's run is the fact that Amy Pond loves the Doctor, but not the same way that Rose loved the Doctor.
Yeah, exactly. It was a different
take on it. Because that, like, in terms of, like, that can be the worst story cliche. You know, the companion falls for the captain or whatever. I got no time for that shit. Because it's boring. Except for Rose and the Doctor. You can have that because it's fantastic. But that's what made Amy Pond so well. So no matter how much time she spent with the Doctor, Rory was always incredibly important.
Yeah, he was like a fun uncle. He
was the one who waited.
He was the fun uncle. It was never a romantic... Well, maybe initially when she was growing up, that's what they've implied. But she's grown up. She's now a sensible Scottish lass, and she knows her place in the world. She never got lost in that. She never went all, because you never go full Martha.
Yeah,
never go full Martha. I must admit that And just as a little aside, probably my least favourite, not because of her. She did a really good job, but the whole unrequited love angle was never really played out well.
No, and then there was Donna, who just didn't give a shit.
Donna, no, again, but that's another take on it. They were mates.
Yeah.
And that's, as Janet said, the doctor said right at the start, I just want a mate. You want a what? But that was it. Again, it was a different dynamic, and they've been good at doing that. Each companion has had a different feel. I was worried when Jenna Coleman came along. I thought maybe they were reverting
Clara,
to type.
yeah.
Clara, of course, the impossible gal. I thought they might be reverting to type, but they gave her own feel.
Yeah, and then they bring in Mr. Pink.
Yeah, Danny, I did like him. I
did too.
wish he had more.
Yeah.
I liked Danny Pink.
But I did quite like that because there was that conflict as well of her wanting to be independent and do all those things, and So I'm curious on what that means for the current companion that's appeared in this season.
Well, because we don't know, it's a clean slate. We're getting new doctor, new companion.
Wasn't there? So the companion was there a new companion for this season?
Yep, we had Bill
Just
for the
once.
last season, and her arc basically
Man, it sucks
finished
to be
out.
her.
She had a pretty good arc in the end, actually.
Oh, I'm sure she has, but kind of like you'd think you'd be able to get in there for a little while.
Well, look at Amy. She had a good run. Clara had I think two, 3 years plus. She appeared
3 seasons. She had 2 seasons with Capaldi, 1 season with Smith.
And of course, she appeared earlier on in an episode when it was still in the Amy days.
Yeah,
in the Dalek Asylum, which again are really great. And well, I can't find out that information because the internet has betrayed me.
That's where comments help. Tell us when we're wrong.
Yes, let us know when Moffat took over the Doctor Who
Showrunner.
As showrunner.
Yeah, so for me, in terms of where this is going with by having a woman as the Doctor, I'm curious to see where this goes in terms of, okay, who's the companion? Is it going to be another woman? That's going to be pretty cool. Is it another dude? That's pretty cool. Is it a dog? That'd be awesome.
Well, we already know. It had to be a pretty damn good dog to beat K9.
Yeah, that's true.
I love me some K9. Wait.
Or is it a kitty?
Didn't think that sentence through. All
Is
right.
it a kitty cat? Brilliant.
A robot
The
cat?
Doctor.
Oh,
Or a sentient cat. Kind of like Rocket Raccoon, but a cat.
Or a teacup pig.
Oh, shit.
There's all sorts of ways you could go.
Yeah, look, in terms of that, I'm curious to see what you go. And I think it's enough of a refresh. Because I remember when Capaldi was announced, example, they were like, he's too old.
I know. They went younger, then they went bang, old.
And that's why and I think that's the big difference. So David Tennant and Matt Smith were quite young, and then Capaldi being quite old. Now, Jodie Whittaker, I'm not quite sure how old she is, not that that's important. But in terms of where she fits, so obviously she's somewhere in between. I think that's important.
Yeah, well, I said the same thing when Matt Smith came along. I said he's too young.
Yeah.
I thought, how can you replace? He just looks young and fresh faced. But again, he took the Doctor character and he ran with it in a new direction, and it turned out to be spectacular. I loved his Doctor.
And I like Capaldi for that reason. He was old. He was gruff. He was full of he's seen some shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm done. I'm not done. I was like, I'm done with fucking around.
Because that was the
he had angry eyebrows.
He did. He opened bottles with these eyebrows. One of my favourite lines. But again, that Doctor in the story, basically, he all of a sudden it was the brand new regeneration. He got to the end of his regenerations with Matt Smith, and then all of a sudden, brand new.
Everyone's getting mad about there being a woman 13th Doctor. Shouldn't people be mad about the 13th?
There shouldn't have been a 13th Doctor.
Is it the point?
According to canon.
Yeah, why is everyone not getting uppity about that canon?
Yeah, well, because we got to get more Doctor Who. They're okay with that.
They're picking and choosing their canon. We can't be a woman. Although canon says we can't have more than 12.
Yeah, well, when we actually had visible proof. Well, there's two times it's happened. Obviously, Master and Missy.
Yeah.
Although
awesome. We should get into that too.
Oh, fantastic. And there was the Gallifreyan guard who the Doctor shot and then regenerated, went from a white man into a black woman. I mean, polar opposites both ways. No one blinked. There was no uproar. Well, there was a little bit of a murmur, but that's from the usual murmurs. But
there was a little bit of internet murmur with Missy, but then the Master can't be a woman.
Well,
and then it's like, no, this actress is phenomenal. And you're like, yeah, okay.
It's different with Missy though, because we had a season of Missy before we knew who she was.
Yeah, that's true.
So we got to see this awesome character who she was just nailing, and then when they went, "Oh, it's the Master," we went, "Yeah, it is," because all of a sudden we made all those
Yeah,
connections.
like my mind blew and like Mistress. Oh my god.
Yep, that was a similar reaction to me.
Yeah.
And so we had a whole season to get used to that. So we don't get that this time. We're going to get one last Capaldi Christmas special, and then boom, new Doctor.
Right at the
off
end,
we go.
yeah.
And again, like every new Doctor, we don't know how they're going to play it. They've said she auditioned well, her take on the Doctor was well. We don't know what that take is yet.
And we don't know whether we're only testing women. We're testing hundreds of people. You know, as in we've got a short list of just actors we want to work with. Excuse me.
Actually, he did say that he always thought that he'd want to go with a woman when he took over. When he got the nod, when they said you'll be the next showrunner, he said he always had in his head that he'd like to have a female Doctor.
Yeah.
So that was always in the back of his mind. So when he was casting, obviously. Now he's worked with her before,
Yeah,
so
Brooke.
extensively, I can't say the
Extensively.
word, a lot, and apparently she just they did audition a few people, as they do, and they kept it top secret.
The NDAs on these bad boys. Woo!
I can just imagine, but I think a lot of people are upset not just because it's a woman, but because the people they thought was going to get the job didn't.
This is true. So Dylan, he's in the same boat. He's unsure about it.
Yeah,
He's like, man, I wanted what's his face?
Richard Ayoade.
I want Richard Ayoade. I want Moss from IT Crowd. I think he would have been fantastic. Granted, he would have been fantastic.
I'm just
But-
picturing it at the moment. But
the rumor mill has been, you know, I think someone said the other like a while back was going to be Idris Elba.
he was in the running for James Bond.
No, not James Bond. It was Idris Elba.
Well, maybe he would make a great Doctor.
There was a
too.
rumor once that it was either Idris Elba or the guy that's in Luther. Is it Idris Elba? I don't know. Talk about Moss.
Well, Moss obviously he's already got the nerd culture behind him because of the IT Crowd, and that's a favourite show of mine and will be forevermore.
Here too.
But now
this house loves it.
This house
Loves
Yes.
the IT Crowd.
But he would have had his own take on it had they gone that way, and it would have been the first.
Idris Elba. Yeah.
It would have been the first Doctor of Colour, if you will. Doctor of Colour, is that the right terminology?
Sure.
Why not? But again, they decided they want to go this way. So whether they went African American, whether they went female, whether they went Chinese. Imagine if they got an Asian Doctor.
That'd be amazing.
It would be amazing.
It'd be really efficient though, like most Asian doctors that I've dealt with.
Could you bulk bill?
Oh,
He would have been good. But this is what we've got. So
is that Asian guy from Jurassic Park? Yeah, get him in there.
No, I'm sorry. I've just gone from that into Jeff Goldblum as the Doctor.
Oh, that's actually better.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Life finds a way. Oh, sorry. I'm going to start writing some fan fiction tonight. But back in what's actually happening, we have a female Doctor, but we don't know how she's going to play the Doctor. She could take it a number of ways. She could go the aggressive Doctor, the funny Doctor, the friendly Doctor, the angry Doctor. There's the nuanced Doctor. There's so many different ways that they can play it. I mean, we've had 12. We've been so lucky with this show. This show's given us so much. Let's give it a chance to try something else, to stretch its boundaries a bit.
Wait, does the 12 Doctors include the War Doctor?
Technically, Capaldi is the 13th if you include the War Doctor.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because that's why he was out of Regeneration.
But they don't count the War Doctor apparently if she's Doctor 13.
Well, yeah, because David Tennant was 10.
No, I get it. I'm just talking about. I'm like, I
yeah.
said a quick. My brain went through each of them, sort of.
There's a number of ways you can count them.
What I would like to see from her though is obviously I don't know her as an actress. I'm curious to see where she takes it. But for me, it's more. We've seen the gruff. We've seen the anger. We've seen that with Capaldi. We've seen the quirky with Matt Smith.
Yep.
We've seen whatever Matt Tennant. He is a weird.
He was the passion.
The passion.
He was very passionate about. He was the oncoming storm.
Well, one of my favourite lines, which is so stupid, but I loved it in the Day of the Doctor, the one Doctor that forgets, Doctor that forgives, Doctor forgets something. What separates the two of them?
Yes, that's right. When he named him, the one that remembers and the one that forgets, or something like that.
Yeah, and like as in one of them actively tries to forget the past, one of them actively tries to remember it. Yeah,
Yeah, because David Tennant's
And repair
doctor
it.
could answer the question, do you know how many died? And Matt Smith said, I've got no idea. And David Tennant gave him a number.
yeah.
So that's what they said, one that remembers and one that tries to forget.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. And like she said, in terms of what she could do, I don't know. I think without, sexisting it, a womanly touch could be cool. I'm not saying it's going to be a motherly instinct. I don't want her to be a Michelle Rodriguez masculine woman. I don't know. Like, I'm curious. I'm so curious.
Yeah, well, it's the thing. When we heard Matt Smith was taking over and we saw these photos, we thought, he's a child, and how could he possibly play the Doctor? But he found a way. He found his niche. He found his groove, and he ran with it. And they've all done that to some extent. I mean, and then look, it doesn't always work for everybody. Everyone's got a favourite Doctor. Everyone's got a least favourite Doctor. Everyone's got a Doctor who they thought is got to go, yeah, I'll go over these episodes. And I'll be, for me, probably Colin Baker, who was the Fifth Doctor. For me, yeah, he just didn't quite do it. But again, they were trying something different with him. They didn't have they didn't go episodical. They had an ongoing arc. So it was like 13 or 14 episodes where it was just one story, which was again breaking the pattern. And that's what they're doing. They're breaking the pattern. They're trying something new. But up until then, it had been 4 episodes. Premise, action, wrapping up. That was always the way they did it. So you'd watch 4 episodes in a week, and that was your arc. And then all of a sudden, we went to a new Doctor, and they threw that out the window. And that's what they've got to do. They've got to reinvent it. I mean, they reinvented it once already, right at the start when they said regeneration. Let's give that a go. Brand new Doctor. And that's what they do. They try something. So they've been doing it since the 50s. This is not new. Trying something this radically different is not new in the Doctor Who franchise. So, I mean, there used to be just the plan was 1 Doctor, 2 companions, male and a female, because it was originally an educational show. It was for kids. You had a science teacher and a history teacher, 1 week in space, 1 week in the past, and that was the original Doctor Who pitch. It was an educational show to teach kids about science and history. And then people went, you know what? I like this. Let's throw that out the window, try something new, right from day one. So this is just a natural evolution of that.
Yeah.
And I think good for them. They took a risk. I think it's going to be excellent.
Look, if it doesn't, if the risk
I hope
doesn't-
it's going to be excellent.
If the risk doesn't pay off, don't worry. You're going to get your white man back in the next season. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work, then again, bang, she regenerates something else.
Exactly. Then it's like, then you get your African American.
Comes back as a golden retriever. It could
Oh
happen.
my God, Dr. Woof.
Doctor Who.
I'm Ryan Betson,
I'm Greg the intern.
and that's our thoughts on the new Lady Doctor. Doctor 13. If you like what you've heard here, all social media links are in the description below. Like and subscribe, all those things. And if you really, really like what we do, follow us on Patreon. Patreon.com/popculturist. All good stuff.
Found me.